This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Ricky Widmer here, along with the Mark Weber.
Dub them ease.
And we're back for another edition of the Onside Kick right here on Most Valuable Podcast. Your one-stop shop for every football news, NFL news here in the MVP world, the little atmosphere that we live in. And we got a jam-packed show, Mark. Franchise tags are long and gone. Kirk Cousins wasn't getting tagged. Didn't get tagged by the Redskins.
That's good. It would have been a really dumb move to tag him.
Wouldn't it have been awkward if it's like, hey, here's my final four teams, and you're tagged?
It would have just been the
back.
ultimate middle finger from Washington, from the Washington brass to say,
you thought you had a choice.
Anywhere.
You had a choice. We're going to trade you. We have your choice.
Or just to even be that big of a dick about it to say, no. You're the backup now. You're Alex Smith's backup.
The highest paid backup in the NFL. Going to be talking about Kirk Cousins, though, and which team he's going to be signing with. Then we're going to take a look at some wide receivers. Sammy Watkins, Allen Robinson, Jarvis Landry. Some landing spots, best fits for those guys in free agency and trade. And then last but not least, we're going to look at the Cleveland Browns and whether or not they should draft Baker Mayfield in the 2018 NFL Draft. But before we get into it, a little bit of housekeeping. Number one, you want to support us, go check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. Christian will be on a podcast later this month. I know he wants to talk Jarvis Landry and the possible landing spots for him. If you want to be like him, check out that $10 tier. Also, you want to check out the shirt that Mark has on, check the store link down below in the description. Get yourself an MVP t-shirt. Last but not least, you got to bookmark mostvaluablepodcast.com. That's where we put everything from the channel. And go give the Onside Kick a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and iTunes. But Mark, let's get into it. Kirk Cousins, the Jets, the Cardinals, the Broncos, the Vikings. That's the final four. Who's he going to sign with?
It's tough because I can see two different things. I think Denver, to me, has always made a lot of sense, but cap issues have been a problem with that. So I look at two different teams where I'm a little less concerned. And the things that the Broncos are going to do to relieve cap issues, I think are going to make it a little bit more unappealing to Cousins. I look at the Minnesota Vikings and I look at the New York Jets.
Okay.
Because the Minnesota Vikings are that I can come in and we can win a Super Bowl tomorrow type of team.
Why
That's
not?
Great. That's
Why
what
not?
he said he wants. He said he wants that ring, so he's going to go get it.
He don't got to worry about the money. He's been tagged twice already.
Yeah, he's got that cash. Now, the flip side, of course, you could say that, well, then you can go to Denver, which is fair.
You can go to the Browns, too.
You can go anywhere you want. The other one I say the Jets, and the reason I say the Jets is because they're the team that's going to pay him. And they've even, essentially come out to say, without directly saying that we're going to pay him whatever he asks, they essentially said, we're going to do what it takes, however much money that is, to make sure that he's our quarterback. And it's not as good of a situation in New York.
Yeah, you got to go against Tom Brady.
He would get paid, though. He'd get paid the big bucks. He's in the weaker conference. The AFC currently is a weaker conference.
True.
So he's got a little bit more leeway. Tom Brady's not going to be around forever, despite popular opinion. So he can potentially dominate that division where he's got younger quarterbacks to compete with in the NFC North, and a lot of young quarterbacks in the NFC in general that are really talented. So New York does have some appeal. And the flip side is you can be in Minnesota, small market, or you can be in the biggest market or maybe the second biggest market of New York. Yeah, you have to share it with another team, but the Giants suck right now anyways. You can be the dominant star in the New York Jets organization, but in the city of New York as a whole right now. It's the riskier move, but it's going to pay you better. And there are some appealing parts to it.
To me, every single team has their positives, also has their negatives, obviously. Duh. Like for the Vikings, positive is you step into that team, could win a Super Bowl tomorrow, your Super Bowl favorites the next day. The negative, though, like you said, small market team, might not get paid as much. Broncos are kind of in a similar situation to where they're in the weaker side, they're in the AFC. you could step in and be the favorites in the AFC tomorrow. It would be immediately Patriots and Broncos atop the AFC is what we would be talking about for a conference championship. The negative side is you're probably contract issue. You're not going to be paid as much because of those contracts. Also, another positive there is you get to work with John Elway. The greatest quarterback in Denver Bronco history is the guy that's going to be pulling you in to that team. The Cardinals, you get to play with Larry Fitzgerald. You got David Johnson hopefully coming back next year. The negative is you go to Arizona, you'll never win a Super Bowl. I will guarantee that. You're not going to win.
It's a tough spot to be.
Because how long is Fitzgerald going to be around? Because you're not going to win
probably one more year.
And you're not going to have Fitzgerald long term.
They're going to be losing some pieces on defense.
Exactly. I don't like that. I think the Cardinals are the clear no in this situation. And then you have the Jets. The Jets, you can get the most money. To me, the negative, though, is with the Jets of, yeah, we don't know how long Tom Brady's going to be around, but what if he's around enough? Just enough to block you and keep you from winning a division, keep you from getting to a Super Bowl. That's why, to me, the only two teams that it comes down to are the Vikings and the Broncos. Which one do you want to go to? Because they're both kind of like each other. They both have similar things. Strong defense. The run game's better with Minnesota. They both have wide receivers. I would say the Vikings wide receivers are a little bit better with Thielen and Diggs compared to where Sanders and Thomas are right now, with Rudolph there as well. However, the defenses are going to be good. The only thing that would shift me to the Vikings is not just because I'm a Vikings fan, but that defense is younger than the Broncos. So to me, process of elimination, not just because I am a fan of Minnesota. Vikings, if he doesn't sign with Minnesota, biggest mistake for Kirk Cousins.
I don't think it's the biggest mistake necessarily, because there are reasons to not go to Minnesota.
Like what?
Well, you're not going to get paid as much.
Okay.
You are in a division with talented quarterbacks who are around the same age as you or younger that you have to go up against. You are also, if you go to Minnesota, you're going to have the issue of being in the NFC as opposed to the AFC. Like I said, AFC is weaker than that. I mean, there's not a ton of disadvantages,
he's also
but there are
familiar with the NFC, playing in it his whole career.
He is. And, that works for quarterbacks. When Peyton Manning was looking for a new team, he essentially ruled out everybody in the NFC because he wanted to stick into the AFC. So you're right. There is some value to that. I think it's good. I actually, as much as I know that we're going to be on the opposite where you say Broncos, I say Jets for the second team, there is value to being able to say this team has a lot of money, and if he truly is willing to take less of it, that's a team that might be able to buy some talent in the offseason. A risky move still, but Kirk Cousins might be able to say, hey, call up my guy Jimmy. Maybe we make a trade for Jarvis Landry. I can make some moves. I can be this appealing guy. I might be able to drag some people to New York with me.
And let's be honest, too. I can't remember if someone in the comment section help me out. I can't remember if it's their quarterback coach or their offensive coordinator. Someone in the Jets staff, I believe, was with the Redskins when Kirk Cousins was being scouted out of Penn State. So the big thing that's linking him to the Jets also is that one coach that knows Kirk Cousins, scouted him throughout the process, and he's got that relationship with that guy who I want to say it's their offensive coordinator, has that link to Kirk.
But I definitely think that when you just look at the simplest answer, if you want to play on easy right now, you go to Minnesota.
Exactly.
Because they're the team that you're most likely to win. Yes, you're going to have to go against Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford, and maybe we'll be able to put Mitch Trubisky in that same category in a year or two. And Chicago's got an improving defense that maybe might scare you, not this coming year, but maybe next year. There are things that are scary. The only thing that scares me in the AFC, or the AFC East, is going to be Tom Brady and the Patriots. When I look at the AFC West, there are some things that do scare me. There are some teams that are on the up and up, are supposed to be on the up and up, but a lot of them didn't play like they were actually on the up and up. So there's a little bit of question there, a little bit of mystery in that division of where it's going to go. But there is some appeal just to playing that division. The NFC West, I want nothing to do with that if I'm Kirk Cousins.
Oh, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to rule that division for years to come.
Well, Jimmy Garoppolo, you got Russell Wilson over there. You've got Jared Goff. I don't want anything to do with it.
And that's the thing that I was hearing. I heard this today. I want to say it was on NFL Live on ESPN today when I went home for lunch. And what they were talking about, and really the Jets, they're living and dying on this Kirk Cousins decision, because if Kirk Cousins decides to go to the Jets, they'll have a similar situation, I believe, that the Niners have right now. Like on NFL Live, they were saying that the Niners' big push to guys like Allen Robinson, who we're going to talk about later, is, hey, look who we got locked down in our quarterback position. We got Jimmy G locked down. Come and play for us. Come be his guy. Come play for us. We've got our quarterback situation locked down, pat, and we want to rule this division. So, I mean, the Patriots, or not the Patriots, that's who I was on the mind. The Jets, if they get Kirk Cousins, they could do a similar thing. Hey, Tom Brady's not going to be here forever. The Patriots aren't going to rule. Bill Belichick also is not going to be here forever. Come play here. We've got our quarterback locked down. We have him set. Come here. Once Tom's gone, we can start winning.
And it's welcome to New York. You know, that's an appealing thing for a lot of people. To me, as much as I early on wanted it to be the Broncos.
Plus, it's not that bad of a move from D.C. to New York.
Not at all. You know, you're used to the cost of things, so that helps out. But, you know, as much as I wanted the Broncos to work out, the more and more I see it, I just don't buy the two West Coast. Well, they're not West Coast, but I don't buy the two more West teams of the Arizona Cardinals and the
ones
Denver
in
Broncos.
the AFC and NFC West.
Yeah. I just don't necessarily see it happening. I see the Broncos being that team that needs to gamble a little bit on one of these other quarterbacks. You know, maybe it's a Case Keenum, somebody who they can get. They'll have to spend some money on, but not a ton of money. And you know, and that'll be its own thing, and I'm sure we'll have a conversation about the Broncos quarterback situation in the future.
Well, not just their situation. The one thing I was going to say is if there's any of the two West teams, Cardinals and Broncos, the reason why I put the Broncos at 2 is, touching on that, is you look at the NFC West like you talked about. I don't want to go up against Jimmy G. I don't want to have to face that Seattle defense twice a year. I don't want to have to face that Rams defense twice a year as well. You look at the situations with the AFC West, though, I look at that and go, all right, the division winner from last year just traded their quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is their guy, but he's still young. I can ride with that. I can go one-on-one with that kid and beat that kid. You have the Chargers who, to me, they could be the top dog next year, but they're always that team where it's like, are they good? Are they bad? Are they good? Nope, they're just mediocre, and that's where they lie. And then you've got the Raiders where it's like, they've got a quarterback. He can be really good, but they've got a new head coach that is coming out of the booth, and we're not quite sure what he's going to do with that team. This team also transitioning to Vegas. What Derek Carr are we going to see? The one we saw 2 years ago, the one we saw last year? That's why, to me, I wouldn't shy away from the Broncos, because if I'm Kirk Cousins, I could say, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to be the quarterback, the top dog in the AFC West. Same thing with like the Vikings as well. When you brought up the negative of playing a Matthew Stafford, playing a Aaron Rodgers, it makes me think of what we're saying about these quarterbacks in the draft right now. One of the big knocks with Sam Darnold, and people said at the Combine, is, he's afraid. He was afraid to compete with the other guys and throw at the Combine. If you're a quarterback, that's what I want. I want a guy that's going to say, I don't care if I got to go up against Aaron Rodgers twice a year. I'm going to
be better than him
because I'm going to be better. That's why a guy we're talking about later in the podcast, I'm all over Baker Mayfield right now after the Combine. Said all the right things, checked all the right boxes. I know that I'm buying the hype after the Combine, and the Combine isn't everything, but that's what I want. That is what I want in a quarterback. Someone who's going to go out there and be like, I'm the best, I'm going to do it. Kind of like Tom Brady, but Tom Brady does it with his play.
But the problem, of course, with that being that when you say this is about the ring, this is about the win, don't you want to go to the easiest situation? Which you can make the argument that Minnesota is, and I've also said that Minnesota is the
Minnesota is the easiest just because of the talent around him.
Will he say, I'm going for a ring, therefore I want to play somewhere weaker? because that's going to make it easy. I know I'm passing up on all this good talent.
Here's the thing.
But I can make this other team better.
With the Jets and the Broncos are in this too. The Broncos, the only team out of these four that are a perfect situation is Minnesota, because you can drop him in. Yeah, you're going to tinker with some stuff. You're going to bring some guys on, but you don't have to make any major overhauls. You've got your guys on the outside. You've got your tight end. You've got your running backs. Maybe
you're good for this team as a core is good
help.
for what, 2-3 years?
Yeah, 2-3 years. For the Broncos and for the Jets, more so on the Jets. If I am Kirk Cousins and I am picking the Jets, I am putting my faith, a lot of my faith, in that Jets front office that, okay, I'm coming to you. Go get me the guys.
Well,
you have to go get your guys.
You make that decision assuming, if I'm Kirk Cousins, you make that decision assuming you're going to be an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady or Peyton Manning when he went to Denver. You're going to be that guy who comes into that and says, I help you make these decisions.
But let me put it this way. Is he going to be that? I'll ask that question. Is he going to be that guy?
Well, we're saying that if he goes there, we're assuming he would be that guy.
But is he? That's what I'm saying. Will he be?
Sure,
because he's a guy.
But that's what I'm saying is that we're assuming he will.
Without assuming, asking now the question, is he going to be that guy if he goes to New York? Because, you can say
the answer is yes, he would be that guy if he goes to New York. That's what I'm saying.
But you could say that, he didn't make the playoffs and stuff because he was on the Redskins. But there is that side.
No, that's not the way. I'm saying if you get that hot commodity.
You're saying like we've got the quarterback position locked down. Like we've got that position locked.
Here, let me explain.
Okay, go ahead. Because I'm
saying if you are Kirk Cousins and you are going to the Jets, you do not go to the Jets without having a discussion first that says, hey, I am going to be a part of rebuilding this team. I am not going to just trust you to get it right. I want to be involved. If we get a new coach sometime, I want to be in the room.
Okay.
I don't need to make the decision, but I want to be there.
You want to be in the conversation is what you're saying.
The way that you would confer with Aaron Rodgers and ask him his opinion. You know, the way that, same thing with Tom Brady. The thing with Jimmy Garoppolo is probably going to be there pretty soon if he continues to be good. You know, when Jimmy Garoppolo says, I want you to go after this guy in free agency, you do it. You say, yes, sir. Essentially, in that case.
Here's what I'm getting at. Completely different side of it. If he goes to New York, and Jimmy G is also in this, but there's a lot more hype around Jimmy G because
and it's still
smaller sample size.
Yeah, exactly. There's a little bit of prove it still with Jimmy G.
Well, and here's the thing with Kirk Cousins. Is he going to be the guy, basically, that when I say be the guy, I mean like, all right, the Jets go, we've got Kirk Cousins. Hey, Allen Robinson. Hey, you. Come play for us. We got Kirk Cousins. Or our free agent's going to go, oh, you mean the guy that went 9-7, 8-7-1, 7-9, and that year he went 7-9, he's 0-1 in the playoffs, and that was a home game? Like, you're telling me that guy's who I'm going to go play for? Like, will he be the guy, meaning like guys will be like, yeah, you know what? Put me up, sign me up. I want to play with Kirk.
Are they going to essentially look at his stats or his record is the question.
Well, and that's it. Is the record more so on him or is it more so on the Redskins being the Redskins?
I would think based on his stats, we're going to assume it's a little bit more of that, but more of the Redskins. But we won't really know until he goes somewhere. I mean, if he goes to Minnesota and Minnesota doesn't win, I'm not going to say they don't win a Super Bowl, but if they're at least not, if essentially Minnesota gets one and done in the playoffs next year, there's going to be a lot of questions about Kirk Cousins then. Because everyone's going to say, dude, look at your team. You were set up to win the whole Super Bowl.
Oh, if he goes to the Vikings and doesn't at least get to, at the least, to the NFC Championship game, it's a bust. It's a bust for Kirk Cousins because I can say because I have proof that Case Keenum could have done that. With the same exact team, with the almost the same with almost the same exact offense and defense, Case Keenum could do it. So Case Keenum's better than you, Kirk. That's what I would be saying if he doesn't get at least to the NFC title game. But that's the question small question that we have with Kirk is, I know he was on the Redskins, but overall, he hasn't won more than 9 games in a season. That was his first year of being that 16-game starter. And who was the quarterback he lost to in the playoffs? Aaron Rodgers. A guy he would have to play twice, and he went to Minnesota. So you're saying, put it on the table, Kirk Cousins, who should he sign with?
I say that the Jets are interesting, but go for easy mode. Go to Minnesota.
Give me one team. One team.
That's what I just did. I said the Jets are intriguing, but go on easy mode.
Saying
play
Minnesota?
for Minnesota.
I'm going the same way. Go with the Vikings. Go
it's just
Vikings,
the one that makes the most
down.
sense. It's the best team. Well, it's the best options for you. It's the clearest route.
If you don't go to the Vikings, you lied to me. That's basically what you did when you said that, it's more about the ring than the money.
Not necessarily. It depends what he does.
Because
if he goes to Denver, then I don't think he lied.
But if he goes to the Jets,
then I think there's an argument that maybe he was bullshitting you.
Like the Broncos are that team where, I can still see it, but I'd still look at it and go, did you not see the Viking roster over here and what they're put together?
But there's also the flip side of maybe he just doesn't get along with somebody.
I couldn't argue, though, if he went to the Broncos over the Vikings. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think down below. Who is Kirk Cousins going to sign with? Who's going to grab him? Who do you want to see him play with next season? Let us know what you think down below in that comment section.